Hello YouTube. Today's video is about how not to be nervous during a film or television pitch. So let's go.
I'm going to shoot something really big.
Welcome. Today's video is about how to stop being nervous in your film and television pitch while you're sitting there in front of executives. Before we get going, I've put a link in the description to a pitch tool I created that is going to answer all your questions about a step-by-step system of how to pitch. Go ahead and visit that. It is a special deal for my YouTube friends. So if you're new here, this channel helps filmmakers monetize their filmmaking career and sell their original content. So like I said, this video is about how to stop being nervous during your film or television pitch, whether it is in front of investors or studio executives. Let's face it, it's nerve-wracking. It can be something that is crippling to some people. But what I want you to understand is that is normal. You are pitching to strangers, you're standing in a room, putting your idea in front of people, right? So what we have to do right out of the gate is just accept that this generates nervousness. This situation of standing in front of strangers, putting your idea in front of them and letting them criticize it or support it. But just realize that this is normal. I pitch all the time and I'm nervous. Just making these videos in front of you guys, I feel nervous. I always get a little amped up, but I've found this great way to use it. So let's go into some things you can do and some ways you can think differently maybe on how you can crush it in a film or television pitch for that project that you've put so much time into. So first, if you go into this and remember that you are there for them, and you put your focus on them instead of, where are my hands? What are my feet doing? Do I take a pause here? Right? When you start thinking in that realm, it's almost impossible to pull it back. So instead, put your focus on them. So with that in mind, when your focus is off you and on them, it automatically settles you. Second, they're there for you. Don't forget, they invited you here. Why? Because they have a business problem. They have this problem of a piece of content that needs to fill a schedule or a gap in their platform or in whatever their mandate is. And they've invited you in and they are actually rooting for you and they need you to do well. So they are rooting for you. Yes, they have their self-interest. Like, I hope this person brings me a hit because I have to deliver hits in order to keep my job. That's one of their self-interests. But the reality of it is they really do want you to do well. We've all been at that wedding when somebody gets up to give a speech and they forget what they're going to say, and you're rooting for them to get back on track. They're doing the same thing if you start to sort of go off on a little tangent somewhere. They're rooting for you to do well because you are their opportunity to solve their business problem. So remember, they aren't there to hope you mess up. They're there to support what you're doing so that they can win. And so, in a way, you guys need each other. Next, practice. Now, you always hear people say, stand in front of the mirror and do your thing. Well, we're not pitching to ourselves, so I never understood that. There's also something about practice that I want you to be aware of. If we practice so much, what it can do is that when we're in the room, we're trying to reproduce the practice that was in our bedroom or in our living room or in our office. And so we're not here in the moment. And we're also trying to remember what to say. So if you're trying to script this thing, for me, I've never liked scripted pitches. They've always sounded to me to be kind of pitter-pattery, right? And the person who comes in with that scripted thing, I feel like when we were talking before the meeting, they were all kind of relaxed and normal, and then all of a sudden they go into this pitch and they become these exuberant wood chippers, right? With this sort of super high energy that's almost uncomfortable and a little cringy. So for me, I always say, know the material so well that you could give a TED Talk on it. Like, you've got to be that person that knows your project so well that you can go through it in any circumstance and it comes off as authentic and natural. The practice for me is that what I'm really just trying to remember is the transitions. Okay, first I'm going to talk about this, second I'm going to talk about this, third I'm going to talk about this, but I can talk about any of those subjects. I'm fully capable of talking at a reasonable length about that subject. But it's those transitions and how to get in and out of them that I really practice, right? Because I want there to be a smoothness. I don't just want it to be like they're reading some stream of consciousness journal entry, right? So structuring your pitch is really great in practicing the structure. But more than that, really understanding that the more you talk about this project to friends, family, coworkers, producing partners, right? Strangers, the more you're going to be able to talk about this project in front of executives. Next, this is a weird one. Make yourself nervous while you're practicing. Put some pressure on yourself. Put yourself in game time, right? Like this is it. You're there in the room. Psychologically transport yourself there because that'll give you this in the room energy. Next, this is a really good one. Instead of the mirror thing, set up a camera. Nothing is more nerve-wracking than having that big lens. And I experience it like right now, there's a lens looking at me. Before I start these things, I'm always nervous. That nervousness is actually the gold standard of great pitchers, right? They live with it, understand it, and use it to their benefit. Because if you do that, if you become friends with that nervousness, what it really is it heightens your senses, allows you to think quickly on your feet, and then puts you in a situation where you can be more reactive and fluid because you're at a heightened state, right? And so make friends with nervousness. Next, body position matters. If we are like this and tight, or we are like this, or, when we stay small, we can't accomplish big things. So keep stuff in front of you, right? Take up space, but not so much space that you're flailing all over the place, right? It is okay for you to be noticed. So in closing, remember, you're a filmmaker. People love what you do. People are excited when you talk about that, but also you love what you do. There's something special about us as filmmakers and storytellers. We take an idea that we had at 3 o'clock in the morning, dig it out of the dirt and make it real. We build things, we make these films, and they show up in the world and they affect people. Remember that when you're standing in front of them, they need you to be great so that you can solve their business problem. So again, I have put a link to my course Pitch Beast below in the description. If you buy it now, you'll get it for $37. That's a couple of weeks of coffee. It really is a powerful tool, and there's so many people that have been helped by it. The pitch deck alone literally broke the damn internet. So many people have downloaded that, and the course itself is like selling like hotcakes because people are getting results. This is a pitch course that I developed based on the system I use that sold over $13 million worth of web series content. So it works. So I hope this has helped. If you like this video, press the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification button so you're notified of upcoming videos. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. And I am talking to you.